welcome to The Discerning Nerd. I'm your host, Will Allen, and with me, as always,
Mike Bryson.
All right, lucky number 13 for this episode.
Nice.
So we're going to do something weird. We think it's weird.
Yeah, just slightly.
I've never heard anybody do this before. We're going to go through some stuff.
Some specific fictional characters, mostly from comic books, but a few over here and over there. And
specifically, ones that have had multiple adaptations made out of them. And we're going to talk about which ones we think are the best, which ones we think are the worst, why, what, when, where, who, how.
Yeah. I suppose...
Let's start with the big guy.
Yeah, we're going to start with the JLA. So are we going to start with actual Superman?
We got to start with Superman.
Okay, we're going to start with Superman.
And let's go through adaptations we're going to count here.
Mm-hmm.
Comic books don't count unless they're a distinct alternate universe that we feel merits mention. Superman doesn't really have one as far as the comics go.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Chris Reeves movies.
Yeah, that serial, like the black and white serial from back in the day.
George Reeves serial.
Yeah. The animated, like 7-minute episode ones they used to do before movies.
The theatricals. I'm not going to do the Filmation cartoon from the 70s because honestly I haven't seen it.
We could do Super Friends.
Yeah, Super Friends. Bruce Timm Superman cartoon, which also counts the Justice League cartoons.
Yeah, the Diniverse, the DCAU.
Man of Steel Superman. Mm-hmm. And I am missing one. What am I missing?
Well, Superman...
The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
And Smallville.
And Soof.
Yeah, that's nobody's favorite.
Yeah, let's out of the way. Smallville is the worst.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that one.
We don't need to discuss which one's the worst. It's that one.
I will also say the George Reeves one from back in the day was fine, but he actually was like violently drunk on most of those sets.
Yeah, that was not a nice time. Let's see what we've got.
I actually, as a kid, I had a bunch of VHSs of the old theatricals.
So did I.
But I have to give it to the Diniverse for me. The DCAU, for me, has the best Superman.
For Superman, I have to agree with you. I love the two of the Christopher Reeves films.
Yes, and even then, it's more like 1.5.
But that era's... It is a perfect adaptation of that version of Superman, but that's not the version of Superman that I love. That I've had.
It's because it's not a version of Superman that legitimately shows like the flaws and the problems of being Superman.
And also to put it in context, our Superman is like the early 2000s Superman. So it's after the death and return of Superman. It's after Superman Red and Superman Blue. It's Lois and Clark are married, and he does Superman shit. That's the version of Superman that is in my mind from the comics.
Yes. And while that was going on, when you had the DCAU specifically... I feel like the character really came into his own during Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
And they also... My thing with the Diniverse Superman is it's the first time that they made it really clear, and this has always been my interpretation of Superman because of this cartoon, that Clark Kent is the person, Superman is the disguise.
Yes.
Like, the person...
That deep down inside, he is Clark Kent, and Superman is something he does.
And I like... And then the Diniverse, I really like it, because instead of playing Clark Kent as like this, super ubu nerd, he's such a klutzy goofball, they just had Clark Kent played as, this is what Superman is when he's not being Superman.
Yeah,
that's who Clark Kent is.
He's a guy.
He's witty, he's smart, he's competent, and everyone just thinks he's a goofball because he's from Kansas.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you notice, Superman himself never goes out of his way to make a witty quip. That's not Superman. Superman says the true blue thing every single time.
And Superman is more artificial than Clark Kent. That's one thing I've always liked. Chris Reeves did it real good. The cartoon did it perfectly. Oh my god! A lot of the DC Direct, those direct-to-DVD animated movies they make, get this right. And it's the thing that kills the Man of Steel version of Superman. Is Superman... is an artificial construct. It's not who he is. He is supposed to be hokey.
Yes.
Like, even in universe, the characters are supposed to think, like, man,
come on,
look at this goofy Boy Scout who...
Yeah, but that's not Clark fucking Kent. Yeah. He is different.
Superman should be, to me, the perfect version of Superman is, he's tough, he's serious, he's a little cheesy.
Yes.
Like, he is the one...
He specifically censors himself. He always says a politically correct thing in place of anything else.
But, even in, like, a world where all of the other heroes are, like, dark and edgy, Superman's the one who oh no, the mugger's about to shoot you. He drops in front of you. The bullet bounces off his chest, and he's still going, stop right there, criminal scum.
Yeah. Halt, criminal. I'm placing you under citizen's arrest.
Well, not like that.
I know, but you know what I mean.
That's when Superman gives off the zinger, it's like, I wouldn't try that again if I were you, and then just grabs him.
Yay,
Like he's trying to be a badass action hero.
Yeah.
And then Clark Kent gets to be like the witty, cracking jokes and
Yes.
seducing Lois and...
Yeah, like that. Well, that's the point, and he's different. And the reason I honestly...
Because that's the other thing. It's always been super important, and it's another reason I don't like the Man of Steel Superman. Lois falls in love with Clark and then finds out he's Superman.
Yes, that is so important. Does not fall in love with Superman. That is not the thing.
That bugged the shit out of me in the Man of Steel. That she only is interested in him because he's Superman.
That's not how it goes.
Yeah.
It's Clark Kent wins her affections completely legitimately, and then she discovers his secret identity and decides to stay with him. That's the point. It's Mary Jane and Spider-Man. That's the point.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. Basically, the thing actually about that elevates him above the comic book continuities, in my opinion, is there is one point in Justice League Unlimited, I believe, where he loses his powers.
Yeah. He gets sent into the future and
This
there's a red
is
sun.
the only time that Superman loses his powers and doesn't become a bitch. Because like Wonder Woman loses her powers, and even Guy Gardner loses his powers, and Hal Jordan has lost his powers. A lot of DC superheroes have lost their powers and still fought crime and kicked ass. Batman does it without powers besides money. But Superman, every time he loses his powers, he just walks the earth and grows a beard. He doesn't do anything.
There's one time in the comics that's not true, and it's after Infinite Crisis.
Yeah.
He overloaded his powers and they disappear for a year, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So he spends that time I'm Clark Kent full-time now. He wins a Pulitzer Prize. He becomes like ace action reporter, but he can't. And they show him like trying to come up with ways to continue fighting crime, but since he's in his 30s and he doesn't have any training because
he
his
can't do it.
superpowers, why?
Yeah.
Like, his friends make him badass battle armor, and he's just like, I can't do it like this.
I love, though, that in the Dini-verse, they let him still be awesome. Because there's no reason... He's still built as a fucking...
Well, yeah, and the Dini-verse is like, I don't have any powers. What do I need to do? I'm going to forge a sword of meteoric steel.
He still has big muscles.
I'm going to punch wolves.
He still has big muscles. He should still be able to do all of that. And I love that they gave him that. And they showed him losing control against Darkseid to the point where Batman, I believe, had to talk sense in him into not killing Darkseid, which bit them in the ass later when Darkseid comes back.
Superman was right. Well,
yes.
No, he's going to kill him, and then he says, no, you can't kill him, you're Superman. He reluctantly stops, and then the thing they're on blows up, and Darkseid dies anyway.
Well, he doesn't really die, though, because he comes
he
back...
gets sucked out of the ether with the stupid...
Whatever, and then he comes back later, but
and
you already
beat him
know
up
this.
Again.
Yeah. And he really opens up. And the fact that for the first time ever, and it wasn't for very long before it gets turned around, but Superman, for the first time, actually gets to use his full strength against Darkseid. And he hits him so goddamn hard. And it feels so good.
It's great. And then the only reason Darkseid gets the upper hand again is because he cheats.
He cheats. Yeah, which is, that's the
because
difference.
that's the moment. And you look at Darkseid, you can see, even in the animation, shit, he is stronger than me.
Yeah, and so Darkseid has to cheat to do it. And that's great. He's just... I love that because he's like, the reason I've never beat you is because I was always pulling my punches. But there are no citizens around now.
And then he also says, I live in a world made of cardboard. I have to be careful not to break anything. But you can take it.
You can take it. Oh, that's such the best line. That's the best line. That's why that Superman's the best Superman. That shit right there.
And there's one thing from the comics that has never been brought forward into any adaptation. Even the adaptation of the comic book where it happened, which pissed me off so much.
Which one?
There's a scene in All-Star Superman.
Yes, shit.
Where Solaris the Living Sun is about to destroy the world, and Superman's like, oh, I gotta go stop Solaris the Living Sun. And they have, throughout the series, had him to get these little bursts where he hears crises, and he has to choose which ones to go stop. And they do it again, and he hears this therapist yelling over the phone.
This one.
And
oh, man.
They then cut to this girl, this teenage girl who's about to commit suicide, and he appears behind her, He puts his hand on her shoulder, tells her everything's going to be okay. You know, you're stronger than you think you are.
Yeah, that's the line.
The world is literally about to end.
And he still takes the time.
Superman prioritizes this girl who means nothing to him on a personal level.
But
he's Superman.
That's what he's supposed to do.
The whole world's about to end, but I have to stop this girl from killing herself first.
Because I protect everyone.
Because I am Superman, and this is just as important as that.
Yes, agreed.
They've never brought that out. They've never gotten it across in any of the other adaptations, which they made one of those direct-to-DVD movies.
And they left that scene out.
They left that out.
That is the most potent scene. That's so important.
Mad.
That's all right. We'll move on to a new character now. Let's go. We're going to stick with the JLA
Let's
first.
hit the big three.
Yep, let's go with Batman.
Okay.
We're counting, of course, we're counting Adam West.
Adam West, the 1940s serial.
Yep, and we're counting Super Friends.
Super Friends, Burton Batman.
Yep.
Schumacher Batman.
Yep.
Nolan Batman.
Yep.
Diniverse Batman.
Batman v Superman Batman.
Batman v Superman Batman. I can't think of any other major ones off the top of my head. I'm going to start with a little, maybe, upsetting thing. I think that the Nolan versus Batman is the worst Batman.
I'm actually going to go with you on that one a little bit. I don't necessarily think he's the worst Batman, but it's just not.
Those are 2.5 really well-made films. There's some issues in Dark Knight Rises. But that version of Batman
is not a great Batman.
Sucks. Oh, I forgot The Batman and like the other
and Brave and the Bold.
Batman Brave and the Bold
and The Batman.
And
the new
the 3D animated one that I cannot remember the name of.
Fuck it.
I don't care about that.
It's nobody's favorite, so we won't even bother.
Yeah. But still, even adding those ones in.
And are we going to separate Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, and George Clooney as separate Batmans? Batmen?
They're different enough, I think we have
Okay,
to.
cool.
But yeah, honestly, Nolan, I can't get behind that version of Batman. He took too many liberties with what Batman is and made him into something that is not Batman enough.
Yes, I completely agree.
And
he's not living in the shadows.
Well, here's the other problem I have with it is he amplified all of Batman's flaws. That happens in lots of adaptations. Oh, the Arkham games as well. But he doesn't take the time to show what his virtues are.
Yes, because that's like the point, is that Batman is a deeply flawed person who's honestly doing things technically for the wrong reason, but he gets results. And the thing is, like, he trashes every personal relationship he has with anyone in the name of this quest he's on the whole time. But it's for something.
But I think, honestly, that's the issue all of the theatrical Batmans has had. Mm-hmm. All of them. Is they don't show the relationships he doesn't ruin.
Yeah.
He never has...
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, like, in the 80s and 90s ones, Commissioner Gordon is not his close ally. He doesn't get Robin or Batgirl or freaking...
They don't show those, like, as the deep... Because he does form deep relationships, specifically with those people that are helping him. Well, like,
let's just even go through the main ones, because I think this is important to at least what Batman is now. He wasn't this way until, the 60s or 70s, but it's integral to who the character is, especially in the new millennium. Mm-hmm. All the Robins, so Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake,
Damian Wayne,
and Cassandra Cain Batgirl, who is orphaned now in the comic, because they finally brought her back, thank you. Those are his children.
That's how he feels about them.
No, they are... Damian is literally his child.
Yeah.
He adopted... Dick was his ward. Jason was his ward. Tim and Cassandra, he adopted them. Yeah, they are legally his children.
And plus, if you remember an Injustice tie-in comic where Nightwing dies, he literally says, "My son is dead."
Well, he treats them all like his children. 3 of them are legally his
children, yes.
And then Stephanie Brown and Barbara Gordon are like, they're important. They're important to what makes Batman Batman, because they're his check. And there have been comics.
Yes, they are his moral balance.
And I loved this. Right before they redid the New 52, they did this thing called Batman and Robin Eternal.
Yeah.
Batman is not in this comic. The comic is literally all of the sidekicks have to deal with a crisis that was too big even for Batman. And they specifically point out what the Robin's... Because the whole thing is about the legacy of Robin. And,
yeah, well,
but the point is, this is what Robin is supposed to be. And he says straight up in one of the flashbacks, Dick is the pure version of what Batman was supposed to be.
Yes.
Because Dick is Batman's better. He's kind, he's humble, he's got the skills. He's not as good as a detective. He's not as smart. He's not as good at fighting. But he is the...
Technically,
Dick
every
is what
Robin...
Bruce wishes he was.
Every Robin was technically supposed to be better than Bruce at something.
Well, and
that's important.
And they run it down. Like, Tim is what he wants to be. Or Dick is what he wants to be. Jason can do the things he can't. Yes. Jason can kill the bad guy if it really needs to happen.
Yeah.
Tim is... Smarter than him.
He is smarter than Batman.
He's the detective.
He outwitted Ra's al Ghul. That is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And Damian, it gets brought up later, Damian is what Bruce would be without the tragedy that created Batman. Because they've basically said, even if his parents hadn't been killed, who Bruce is, he would have become Batman regardless.
Yes.
Because they did that specific story arc was his parents didn't die. He went back in time and saved them. That version of Bruce still became Batman because he's like, that man saved my parents. I need to be like that guy.
Yep, there you go. No matter what, he's the Bat. Unless he's dead. And then his dad's
unless he's dead. But all that stuff about Robin aside, again, I have to give it to Diniverse Batman.
I see, I'm going to disagree with you.
Best.
I'm going to disagree with you. My personal favorite Batman is Keaton Batman.
I don't...
It's honestly, I think it's purely because of nostalgia. Strictly because Six Flags Over Georgia modeled their entire Gotham City section for so many years strictly on the 1989 Tim Burton Batman movie. And that is such a huge part of my childhood. I've seen that movie 1,000 times. To this day, I think Jack Nicholson was the second best Joker behind Mark Hamill.
Yes.
But...
my issues with that Batman and what knocks it below the Diniverse Batman for me is, one, he kills people.
Yes.
I don't like it when Batman kills people. That's also what knocks points off Batfleck.
Yes, is that he kills people.
Although they have said they're pulling back from that. That was Batman in a dark place. He has emerged from the dark place at the end of Batman v
For me,
Superman.
technically, the only people Michael Keaton Batman kills, and
he doesn't kill the Joker.
No, the Joker kills himself.
But he kills those goons. He throws one off the building.
Yeah, and there's no way that didn't kill him.
And then in Batman Returns, he shoves dynamite down a guy's pants and throws him in the sewer.
Yeah.
He's dead.
That's a dead guy. Yeah, even if it was supposed to be a little bit goofy. And it's not really the Batman Returns one. It's Batman, 1989. That Michael Keaton Batman, to me, is the purest form of Batman. The reason I don't like the Diniverse Batman, he is too perfect. Too perfect.
That, I think, is honestly Justice League's fault.
It is.
Because in Batman,
he has some problems. But once they get to the Justice League, Batman, he's always the ace in the hole. Every single time.
That's also a carryover from the comics. Because when Batman gets put in
he got flanderized like a motherfucker.
Well, it's honestly specifically Grant Morrison. Because when Grant Morrison wrote JLA, he didn't write Batman as perfect. He's a better writer than doing that. But he changed Batman's role in the team. Batman became the op center, the brains. He was the tech guy.
Yeah, he did so much.
He was the one with the plan. He was the battle leader. He had the gadget or the.
I always assumed that his place would be he's the stealthy infiltrator. That's what he does. That's the best
Justice League cartoon lets him keep that role, but also makes him a frontline fighter.
Yeah.
Even when it's ridiculous to put him in that.
That's kind of my point. Is the fact that they gave him a little too much, let him do too much. And it aggravated me, even though I love the Diniverse. That specific thing, and the part that gets me was actually when they found out in one episode that he had a countermeasure to literally every single one of the other members of the Justice League. This was during Justice League Unlimited, in case they ever went rogue.
Well, every other time that plot point has come up, he gets kicked out of the league for that.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Yeah.
They let him stay. They made all this fucking big stink about Hawkgirl, but they let Batman, who technically conspired against every other member of the league, stay in no problem. And I have an issue with that. It's making Batman too perfect, and it aggravates me.
I
still love it, though.
Another one of his too perfect moments, but it makes me laugh a lot, so I'll always forgive it, is during the big Thanagarian invasion.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got to take off our costumes and go incognito and sneak over here. And the Flash is like, I don't know, guys. We're friends, but I don't know if I trust you with my secret identity. And Batman points at Superman and goes, Clark Kent rips off Flash's cowl. Wally West pulls his own off. Bruce Wayne.
I did love that. That was an amazing moment. And it was only because he'd been collecting stuff, but that is a phenomenal moment. I will agree with you.
Especially because that was
brilliant.
the first time they had confirmed that was Wally West.
Yes, they had never brought it up. It could have been Barry Allen the whole time.
Well, Barry was dead in the comics at that point, so everyone figured it was Wally.
You never knew.
But yeah, it was Silver Age nostalgia.
Clark Kent, Wally West, Bruce Wayne. Utterly brilliant.
So yeah, first disagreement, yay.
Yay.
I do want to give a special shout out to Batfleck. People have given Affleck so much shit.
He did a great job.
He did a great job. He is the best thing in that movie.
By far.
Especially in the extended cut where the plot of the film actually makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's now the executive producer of the Warner Brothers DC universe.
Oh, thank God. He's best friends with Kevin Smith.
He's also
They're gonna do this.
He's also tacitly sort of said, that's Batman at his lowest point in that movie.
We're gonna fix that.
He's taking the example that Superman set. He's going back to his old personality, basically. Justice League and the standalone Batman movie will be much more lighthearted.
Good.
Batman will make
That's all I wanted.
I want Batman to make quips. You've got Affleck. Affleck has one of the best stoic comedians.
I know, like damn it. Use him.
And even that little sizzle trailer they showed for Justice League, where like the whole thing is just Batman snarking. It's like,
yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, Batman.
Awesome.
Batman. All right, who's your favorite Wonder Woman?
Well, let's see what versions we got here. We got Linda Carter.
70s. I keep thinking Linda Blair for some reason, which is the little girl from The Exorcist.
No,
that's not right.
That's not
so
right.
So
Linda Carter. We've got
Super Friends.
Just fuck the Super Friends. That's never going to be the best version of anybody.
I don't know.
Except for Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy won't pants.
I just want a pair of pants. A decent pair of pants.
Solomon Grundy won't pants too. It's not even from the cartoon, and it's best.
It's like the best promo I've ever seen.
But that was a commercial.
And then Deanieverse, and then the new take.
And since there's only one, I'm going to throw in the direct-to-video Wonder Woman movie they made back in 2009.
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
I did. And that's weird because that's my favorite version.
I'm not okay. See,
it's this 85-minute film. They delve better into what it means for her to be an Amazon. She gets to kill demons.
The part that made Deanieverse Wonder Woman my favorite Wonder Woman was specifically the moment when she is on Themyscira and she brings in the Justice League to defeat Hades and save all the Amazons. And even though she did that, she gets banished, and instead of fighting it, she accepts her exile from Themyscira with a straight face. And that was the moment I was like, I need to pay attention to Wonder Woman.
I just like the scene in Unlimited where she's at the ICE conference and they use the Linda Carter Wonder Woman transformation.
Yes, wasn't that the one where there was a princess she was friends with, and she was dating Vandal Savage?
No, that's a different episode.
That's so good.
The one I'm talking about is the one where she's at the Peace Summit on
Yes, I remember, and she spins around and
And also has my favorite moment of Justice League Unlimited where Green Arrow shoots his rope arrow at the submarine and then slides down it singing his own theme song.
Yes.
Which is the leitmotif that the composer had given him. And he's singing along with it while it plays.
That's brilliant.
I loved Green Arrow in that show.
It was great.
It was a great Green Arrow.
I loved it.
Honestly, that's the reason I got into Green Arrow, because I loved that version of Green Arrow so much.
Yeah.
But as far as Wonder Woman, we haven't seen enough of the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman to really know.
Yeah, because
she's only in that movie for 10 minutes.
And she's really a set piece.
And she's there for a fight scene.
And she's there to expose. That's it, she's just exposition. But... Yeah. So you like the direct-to-video one because
it's
it
really
delves
good.
more into...
I need to show it to you sometime.
I'd love to see it if it's your favorite.
Because it also has Nathan Fillion as Steve Trevor.
Well, hell.
And there's a scene where the forces of Hades destroy the Lincoln Memorial, and he goes, "They mess with Lincoln. Nobody messes with Lincoln."
I love that. I love that immediately.
They have fun with the truth lasso and Steve Trevor in that movie.
Good. They need that.
All right.
So
There's just not enough adaptations of Wonder Woman there.
yeah, it's the same kind of for the Flash, except we have the series, the recent series. We have Diniverse, and then I don't think he was actually in
The 90s TV series.
You're right. The 90s TV series, but he wasn't in the Super Friends, was he?
It was.
Was he? I don't even remember.
As much as any character in that show had a personality, does
Fair
it really
enough.
matter?
Yeah.
They're all the same.
I hate swinging on Diniverse with this one again, but
Yeah.
it's the best Flash.
The new Flash is getting there.
Yeah, but like for me, the scene where he apprehends the trickster in the bar
so
is
good.
the single best scene in all of Justice League Unlimited. Because it's him and
Mark Hamill.
Well, it's Orion and Batman, two of the most serious characters in the series, and they go, and the Flash apprehends his villain by having a conversation, and then when he leaves, just goes like, "Hey, don't forget to turn yourself in."
Got me again, Flash.
And what is it? What is his actual like real name? I forget. He's like, hey.
It's James Jesse.
Yeah, he's like, "James, you're off your meds again." But I stopped taking them when I started to feel better. You know that's not how they work.
No, he goes, "James, you're wearing the costume again," and then he goes,
So I am.
"So I am." Because I love that Flash knows his villains so well.
Yes.
He knows Trickster's not actually very dangerous. He's psychotic. If he takes his medicine, he's fine.
He's sick.
And he knows he can just say. And you watch in the background, Orion's going to go kick his ass, and Batman just goes, "No, let him handle this."
And because the whole time Orion, Batman less so, but he kind of plays into it.
Well, that's
Orion's
the thing. Batman understands what the Flash is doing.
Yeah. Orion wonders why is the Flash, who he considers like a second-rate hero, getting an entire museum. But yeah, his city worships him, and it's because he doesn't always take that punchy route. He can solve problems a different way because he is, at his core, a talker.
And that whole episode shows him he knows everybody's name. He stops and helps the old lady paint her fence. It's like...
That's what he is, in essence, like every bit the Silver Age hero that the others pretend to be.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why he's important in that alternate universe, in that where the Flash gets killed and the League turns crazy. The Flash is the example, because even Superman has a thing where he'll go too far. The Flash will not.
He never once goes too far. The only time he's ever gone too far was at his own sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And they know that in the alternate universe, the loss of the Flash makes the Justice Lords, because he is their moral center. You're right. He's the one they look to decide what they should act like as heroes, oddly enough.
Which is such a weird... I love it, and it makes that my favorite version of the Flash, too.
Yeah.
But that's not part of the character in the comics.
Which I don't care.
Because they actually play all the Flashes in the comic. Oh, Barry Allen was like the greatest hero who ever lived because he died. I hate Barry Allen. Wally West is better.
He's Speed Jesus. That's all he is now.
I hate Barry. Honestly, the reason I like Barry in the Flash live action is because that Barry is written a lot more like Wally.
Yeah! And Wally. Wally's the man.
All right.
Okay, next up, we're going to have the Green Lantern. So I would actually say that what we have here...
This is hard.
Interesting.
Because there are 4... well, actually, now there are 6. But there are 4 Green Lanterns. I think... in the interest of fairness, it has to be Hal Jordan specifically.
Yes, I would say that since he has the most adaptations, while a lot of people will cry foul, Hal Jordan's my favorite Green Lantern anyway, and specifically, my favorite version of Hal Jordan was in the Justice League New Frontier direct-to-video movie.
That's a good Hal Jordan.
That is the best Hal Jordan, because that movie is the Justice League, but it is focused on Hal Jordan and his... transformation into a hero as Green Lantern when he has no knowledge of the core. He only knows he has the ring.
He didn't even know how it works for most of the movie.
No, but they make it work.
See, my favorite Green Lantern is Kyle Rayner, but it's a comics-based favorite.
Yes, exactly.
Because he's in the Superman animated series a little. He's in Justice League a little. he really has never gotten.
He's never gotten to stand out, and
chance.
I hate it because he, more than like any other character in the DCU in general, has been through some shit,
And even in like
and he's
Young,
still so strong.
and even in Young Justice, where they show, hey, there are multiple lanterns on Earth. They show 3 of them. They show Hal, they show Guy, and they show John.
They don't show
Kyle gets left out.
which is upsetting. Well, at that moment, is he actually serving on Oa?
They don't say, because Young Justice is not focused on the Justice League
that's
characters. But yeah, Kyle just doesn't get his dues, which is especially frustrating because in the comics, Kyle's the guy.
Yeah,
Like when they resurrected the Core, he's like, "You are
he's
Lantern.
the first one.
You're the first Lantern. You're Lantern number 1."
Hal, okay.
Well, they give him
Hal
a special.
Jordan.
They give him a special title.
Yeah,
Because, they go through and it's like, Hal Jordan and John Stewart are Lanterns 2814A and 2814B. They're the Lanterns for that sector of the galaxy. Guy Gardner is a member of the Green Lantern Honor Guard.
Yeah.
Which is how they justify having multiple humans, is they put them in these other special things. Kyle is the torchbearer.
he is so important.
He is basically...
Because he was the last Green Lantern at one point. He was the guy that
resurrected
brought
the
Hal
Core.
Jordan back from the brink of madness and despair after he was supposedly killed as Parallax. That was so critical. And to the point where Hal Jordan, who is the legendary Green Lantern that everyone knows about, Hal Jordan thinks of Kyle Rayner as his son. There's a moment where
Which is weird,
Sinestro...
because Kyle's only like 4
Yeah,
years younger
but
than
there's
him.
a moment where Sinestro breaks Kyle Rayner's back, and Hal Jordan unloads pure hell on a guy that has been basically untouchable throughout the series. He beats the shit out of him because Kyle Rayner means that much to the Green Lanterns.
And Kyle changed the way the Core works.
Yes.
Because originally, the Lanterns were chosen, it's like, Hal Jordan, you're a man with no fear. When Kyle was the last Lantern, he goes, I'm terrified of everything. They do all this shit. They changed the recruitment process when he brought the Core
You're the
back.
man who can
overcome.
Yes, and that's
great
so much
fear.
more important.
And that is especially brought up when the multiple cores start appearing.
Yeah.
He gets infested with Parallax. He throws it back out.
Because he can...
Because he can overcome the fear.
Yep.
Because Hal had no fear until something that actually scared him happened and he couldn't deal with it.
Bingo.
It broke him.
Yep.
Kyle endured. And Kyle is awesome and he needs to be in more shit.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like I said, Hal Jordan is my favorite just because he is that flagship. He is, when you think of the Green Lantern, it's Hal goddamn Jordan. He is a legend. He's a legend to everyone. And actually, the Parallax story, where basically, when Hal went crazy and then later they basically retconned it by saying he was infested with Parallax, that led to the emotional spectrum. And I love what they did with the Green and with the emotional spectrum.
I do too.
I love all of that.
Because the Red Lanterns are cool.
Amazing.
The Blue Lanterns are dumb, but
Weird.
they serve a purpose.
Yeah, the Violet Lanterns are neat. I love the Orange Lantern. I think that's cool as shit.
Yes.
The Yellow Lantern Corps is badass.
Honestly, my favorite thing about it, and this is sort of stupid, I like that the Star Sapphires became a Lantern Corps, and they become one of the good Lantern Corps.
Yes.
Because if you go through the emotional spectrum they show, there are 8 Lantern Corps. There are 3 good ones, 3 bad ones, a neutral one, and a holy shitballs evil one.
Yes.
Because the good,
Are we counting White and Black too?
sort of.
Okay.
Because Red Lanterns, Sinestro Corps, and the Orange Lanterns,
They're evil.
they're the bad guys. Indigo are neutral.
Yeah.
Because they don't do fucking anything.
Blue are good.
Blue are... Well, because blue are useless without green. Because blue power up the greens.
Yeah, and to amazing heights.
And then the Star Sapphires are good. Which means freaking Carol Ferris doesn't have to be a supervillain
Yes.
anymore.
Good. We wanted that. And then there's the Black Lantern Corps that are holy, oh my god, evil.
And then the White Lantern Corps, which are holy, oh my god, good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they're literally, it's like the power of life and death. And death, obviously bad in a superhero.
and I can't hate the Black Lantern Corps, even though they're stupid, and that entire Blackest Night crossover was dumb as hell.
No, it wasn't. Shut up.
But I got Connor Kent back.
I know.
I love Superboy.
And plus, I liked it because specifically and this is just me being a squealing fanboy, I like the Blackest Night, Brightest Day crossover, because they got to pick which JLA members and villains got to fit into specific cores to embody all that, to like actually summon the entity of life.
Favorite bit,
that was
my
great.
favorite bit of all that who goes into what core thing was Superman doesn't get to be in any of them because he embodies all of them.
Yeah, so it's like, okay. And I love the fact that Sinestro stepped forward and was like, no, Hal, you don't get to be the entity of life. You had your chance as Ion. I will be the entity of life. And then it rejects him entirely. And it's like, no, it's Hal.
Yeah.
No, we want Hal.
And then they also get the fun stuff where you get like Blue Lantern Barry Allen and
Yes!
Star Sapphire Wonder Woman.
I know! It's so great! And then Lex Luthor as the Orange Lantern.
I love they all see
my
that
God.
happen and go, oh, Jesus.
Oh, they're like, we expected that, but it still sucks for everyone that isn't you.
Yeah. And Scarecrow gets to be the Sinestro Corps.
Yes, which is perfect. I'm thinking of a blanket. Who got red? I was like, no. What was it?
It was Mira.
Yes.
Aquaman's wife.
Yes. Jesus.
Because that brought her back to life.
Yeah, well, what it was, because it was specifically its rage caused by the grief over loss.
Yeah.
That is how
Because they've
the
actually
Red Lantern
sort of,
works.
in the more recent comics, they've shifted the Red Lantern Corps from being villains to just being like...
Omnicidal.
Well,
They're
no, they're
everyone's
not...
enemy.
If
And
you
they're
can-
all justified.
Well, but they've also gotten to the point where more and more of the Red Lanterns conquer their rage. Once they get the, like Atrocitus, where they have the reasoning back, they've kind of pushed them more into the, like, violent anti-hero category.
Like well-intentioned extremists.
Yeah, like, because they have, like, a team.
And plus, they've stated that a Blue Lantern, one of the only gifts that a Blue Lantern has,
if
actually...
they can take the ring out of a Red Lantern.
Yes,
Corps.
they can take that rage out of them, because the whole point when you become a Red Lantern is that the red power replaces your fucking blood.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. That kills you if you take the ring off.
Yeah, because the Blue Lanterns can...
They call it, and I hate saying it like this because it's laughable, but they cleanse the taint.
But yeah, they can do that, and then they can supercharge the
green.
The green. I like. They were very flowery and poetic about it. Because hope has no power without will.
Yes, but willpower is stronger with hope.
Yeah.
So what is actually your favorite Green Lantern? Like in the terms of adaptations we talked about? That's probably tough.
It's hard.
You don't really have much of a stake in it because it's not Kyle.
It's not Kyle. That's the thing. It's probably Jon Stewart from the Justice
Understandable.
League cartoon.
Totally. He's a close second for me.
Because it's
He
not
really
going
is.
to be the
He's
fucking
so good.
Ryan Reynolds movie.
No one is.
Oh.
Look, Ryan Reynolds did a great Hal Jordan. That script is garbage.
It's the Batfleck problem.
Yep.
He was good. Everything around him
was shit.
awful.
It's terrible. So, I don't think we even need to discuss Aquaman. I think we know exactly which Aquaman we both
It's the
like.
Batman, the Brave and the
and the
Bold.
Bold. All right, we can move on.
Yeah,
he's just the jokiest, hokiest, cheesiest, ballsiest, bravadoist, braggadocioist. He's the best.
Well, I mean, you look at the competition. Edgy sword hand Aquaman from Justice League, who I think is dumb.
Yeah.
Although he does have one of the best lines in the show when they're fighting the fake Wonder Twins and they flood the room and he's just standing there and she stares at him like, "How did my power not affect you?" And he just goes, "King of the Seas, remember?"
Perfect.
And then punches her in the face. And then I think it's just a Justice League cartoon is the one.
No, he was on the Justice Friends.
The Super Friends, yeah. But
Justice.
Justice-
my God.
the
No!
Justice Friends, Valhalla,
Eat breakfast!
the Viking God of Rock.
Yeah, Super Friends. But no, the Batman Brave and the Bold was the best one. Bam.
Yeah,
It just takes it.
I reserve judgment of the Jason Momoa version. I don't think he's going to be my favorite instead of that version.
Too brooding, not enough.
He's not going to sing Aquaman's rousing song of heroism.
And he's not going to name all of his Aquaman's underwater adventure.
What if they did? They just have that hulking, enormous man.
I would shit my pants.
Because Jason Momoa is a scary-ass dude. What if we see him come out of the ocean, brooding, angry-looking, and he just walks up to Batman? "Greetings, chum!"
That would be the single greatest thing they could ever do, and I would forgive them to the end. Like, other people would be like, "I can't believe they did that." I'd be like, "I also can't believe they did that," but I'm so happy
I
it
would
happened.
love it if they did that, because apparently they're going to do like the really serious Wonder Woman and the really serious Flash. It's like, what if Batman and Aquaman are like the two dudes who stand off to the side making jokes?
Please. And then maybe they can do a spin-off. It's like a buddy cop movie.
Yes.
Let's switch gears to Marvel, I guess.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Woo, Spider-Man. Let's see what we got. We've got the 60s cartoon.
Yep.
We've got the 50s Japanese tokusatsu series.
Yep.
Boo-hoo! I'm
90s?
I'm going to count all of the 60s and 70s cartoons together.
Yeah,
Spider-Man and his amazing
They're
friends.
the same. It's like the same.
The early 90s cartoon.
Hold up. There was also a series of Spider-Man shorts that were produced for a different children's show that didn't have anything.
I don't think those should count.
I'm just saying they're there. They're not my
Okay.
favorite, but they are there.
Let's see. 90s cartoon.
It was on like Zoom or something.
The live action, the Tobey Maguire trilogy.
Yep.
The CG animated MTV Spider-Man cartoon based on the first Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
The Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yep.
Oh, I'm missing
Ultimate Spider-Man,
Ultimate
but that
Spider-Man.
that technically ties in to the 90s one. That technically does. It continues on from there. That technically is
That's
the sequel.
Spider-Man Unlimited.
Okay, never mind.
Ultimate Spider-Man's the one that's airing like right now that ties
Okay.
into the Avengers United We Stand.
Is that the
cartoon.
one that's like sort of CGI? Like,
It's the really wacky one.
yeah. Okay.
I'm missing one thing. The Andrew Garfield movies.
Andrew Garfield movies and new Spider-Man,
New Spider-Man.
new Kid Spider-Man.
New Kid Spider-Man. This is actually hard because unlike some of the other ones, there are multiple really good versions of Spider-Man.
I would say, in my heart, I will always love the 90s Spider-Man.
but I can't say it's good because it's not.
Well, it's not just that. Personally, the best Spider-Man, in my opinion, is the new one from Civil War.
That's a great Spider-Man.
He is spot on. He's a kid. He developed all this stuff himself. He lives with his aunt. And they don't bog it down with it. And he does the thing that no other Spider-Man has done in a long time since the 90s.
He fucking quips when
He quips! He quips! Why don't you just quip? And the thing is, first season of 90s Spider-Man is amazing, but then they just kept recycling plot devices.
When they
and it
got to
old.
Neogenic Nightmare, where the whole season was one continuous storyline, that's when that one sort of loses it.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you tentatively, depending on the quality of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Agreed.
Because for me, it's the Spectacular Spider-Man. That's a damn good Spider-Man
I do know
show.
it's a great series. It's a great
It's so
series.
I wish it had gotten that third series, because I think they were going to kill Gwen Stacy, and
Bring in Mary Jane.
Well, she
was Venom. Was Venom there yet?
all of them were already all there. Gwen and Mary Jane were friends. I wanted to see how the show was going to handle that, especially since it was a children's show.
Yeah, personally, I can never, ever, ever say Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, no matter what I think, just because the Venom is probably my favorite Marvel villain of all time, and he got...
That's the worst Venom.
That is the worst Venom I've ever seen. I have a pinball game on my phone that has a better Venom.
I'm trying to think of what I think is the worst Spider-Man. I think it might be the Andrew Garfield one.
You know why? Is because he just came off like a jerk ass. He just came off like an
does.
asshole. He doesn't come off like he's like a kid who's just being a smart ass because that's what a kid does, because he's not that young. And so when he talks to people, he just sounds condescending and shitty.
Yeah, it has the same problem that Tobey Maguire has. Is the 30-year-old.
tone is wrong.
It's a 30-year-old man pretending to be an 18-year-old.
The tone is wrong. It
And
doesn't feel right.
honestly, that's why freaking I'm sorry, guy who's playing Spider-Man in Civil. I cannot remember his name.
Yeah, who cares?
But that's
He's
a
an unknown.
19-year-old playing a 15-year-old,
But he looks the part.
which is perfect. And it means he can play it longer than 4 years without it getting
Yes.
weird.
And it's great because, like I said, the whole thing is he's concerned about having enough money. As a kid, he's concerned about his class. He's concerned about his aunt a lot. And, people treat him like a child. This is the Spider-Man that we've always known.
And
This is
also,
important.
it's the first time, and I'm counting all the cartoons, even the one I like, where they've gotten his power level from the comics correct.
Yes.
Because they show it in that movie. Spider-Man, 15-year-old inexperienced Spider-Man, can fight the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He wins!
He's just... Okay, the thing is, he's super strong. He's super fast. He basically has ESP.
Well, honestly, they don't point it out in the movie. Since Hulk and Thor are not present in that movie, Spider-Man is the strongest character in that fight.
The only reason he gets taken out is because
He gets sucker punched.
he gets sucker punched, and Iron Man tells him to not get back up because he's afraid of a child getting hurt.
And then he picks up the plane.
Yeah, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man can do that.
Yeah, and then Captain America decks him.
Yep.
And he even says, "Go. You are a fucking child. I should not have brought you here."
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the point where in that movie, they cleanse the taint of the Civil War cartoon.
Yeah.
Because that's the moment where Tony goes, "I went too far."
And
He
and then later he goes far again only because he's
really
emotional. I mean, I
justifiable
understand.
reason.
Yeah,
Even Bucky's like, "I'm just going to let him
get
kill
it,
me because
yeah.
I deserve it."
yeah.
And Cap's the one going, "No, don't kill Bucky."
Mm-hmm.
Bucky's like, "No, I really deserve this."
Yeah. Let's say then X-Men. And I'm gonna give a small offset of Wolverine.
Okay, but for the X-Men as a total, 60s X-Men cartoon,
90s.
fucking god awful.
Yeah.
The classic 90s X-Men cartoon, X-Men Evolution,
Yep.
Wolverine and the X-Men, the Fox movies.
Are we counting the original trilogy in with Days of Future Past and all that now that they've tied it
Yes,
together?
because technically it's one
Yes.
continuous storyline.
Okay, yes.
But the only person who remembers the old timeline is Wolverine.
Yep.
I think from a quality standpoint, I'm going to have to say X-Men Evolution is the best.
I'm going to go with 90s. I say 90s X-Men because every single time anyone talks about the quote-unquote true characterization of a character from
They're
the X-Men,
always talking about
it's
the
the
90s
90s one.
X-Men.
That is what everyone goes to. I had those trading cards. I read the comics that were coming out then. I was such a huge X-Men fan. I knew the point. Like, I had cards I didn't even know the villains of just because it said X-Men at the bottom. Like, I wanted all of them. You know, I love that show more than life itself. I played those games, specifically X-Men 2 The Clone Wars on the Sega Genesis, which is the hardest goddamn game I've ever played, but it follows the Phalanx War, which was the best storyline aside from Dark Phoenix. I mean, shit. Listen to the way I'm talking about this show. I fucking love it.
My thing is, I saw X-Men Evolution first.
Yeah.
I saw the 90s one in reruns when it was
Yeah.
on Fox Kids later.
Yeah.
My favorite versions of a lot of the characters
It's from X-Men
is from X-Men Evolution.
Nightcrawler's best version is
That's
clearly
the
from Evolution.
best version of Nightcrawler.
Obviously.
I honestly think that's the best version of Rogue.
Because she doesn't...
Because she doesn't have the absurd angst from the comic.
Yeah. And her accent isn't nearly as atrocious as the 90s. The 90s when some of the voices are pretty bad.
They didn't have her drain Carol Danvers' soul,
Yeah.
which sucked. Because they had to address that in the original cartoon, and even then it was like, ooh, that was shitty, Rogue.
Yeah.
Should have done that. I'm trying to think. It's got a not annoying version of Wolverine, which is pretty impressive. And honestly, because you know how they manage that? He's just not there all the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Don't really care about Cyclops or Jean Grey in Evolution, but whoever cares about Cyclops or Jean Grey?
You fuck them.
I don't give
You should only care about Jean Grey when she's Phoenix, and aside from that, you shouldn't even care.
And it's bad. I know that version of Kitty Pryde is wrong, but that's the one that's in my head.
Yeah, I know. But it's, I mean, and you can like write off one character in a series. It's great. It's fine.
And she's a good character. She's just not a good Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
And I loved how they handled the more morally ambiguous members of the X-Men in Evolution. Because, well, Colossus isn't morally ambiguous. He's being blackmailed. But
Yeah.
Colossus and Gambit show up as Magneto's henchmen. Colossus is unwilling. Gambit basically tells him to fuck off and does whatever he wants.
Yep.
And
That's Gambit.
I love the episode where they go deal with Gambit's family in that show, where him and Rogue go to the bayou,
They always have to make him.
and they can't say assassins in a children's cartoon, so it's like the thieves give their rivals, the Rippers.
God.
It's like that in the '90s cartoon too.
The Rippers.
The Rippers.
Come on, dude.
I just
Hey,
like.
mon chéri.
I just like when
my
other-
name is Gambit.
I love when other characters talk to Gambit in both of those cartoons because their Cajun accents are even worse than his.
Yes.
Hey, Remy, we gotta tear down those rippers now.
Oh, now see, I come on in the best scrumps I ever had. It's ridiculous.
I love Gambit. Every version of Gambit is bad except for the one in Evolution.
Yeah.
I love 90s Gambit. He's terrible.
He's terrible, but it's the one that made you like Gambit.
It is.
It is. And it's
And
the
I love
reason you wanted to
Gambit
play as him in the video games. It's the reason.
And I love Gambit in Evolution. Gambit in Wolverine and the X-Men annoyed the shit out of me because he's a villain in that version.
Yeah, well, it's earlier, right?
No, they just
did that.
That show has a radical reinterpretation of a lot of the characters. His is he's just a freaking mercenary.
Yeah, that's fine. I get it, but I don't agree with it.
Fucking Taylor Kitsch ruining goddamn Gambit. Fix Gambit, Fox. You rebooted the universe. I can have a real Gambit now. You better give it to me.
Exactly. X-Men Origins Wolverine is basically written out now.
Yeah.
Like, that shit didn't happen.
It's gone.
Yes. So, give us a real Gambit. We deserve one. Everyone loves Gambit. Where's our fucking Gambit?
Seriously, you put fucking Jubilee in there. You... Give me Gambit.
Give me my Gambit.
Gambit.
You gave me two great versions of Beast, who's actually my favorite X-Men.
Yes.
He is my favorite because he solves his problems with his brains, but is immensely physically powerful.
You brought in a badass version of Storm for X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes.
You've got freaking Psylocke in the movies. Why can't I have Gambit?
Let him throw an exploding ace. It's all I want.
He has the most useful power. You put Pixie in the movies. You put Siren in the movies. Freaking Bishop. Gambit.
Gambit, please.
Please give us Gambit.
You didn't have to put Havoc. You put Havoc.
You put Havoc. You put Emma Frost twice as two different characters.
Don't bother.
It's fine. You put in Azazel and Darwin.
And Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah.
You put in Lady Deathstrike. Gambit. Give me Gambit. I want Gambit.
I want Gambit.
Give me Gambit back.
Give me a good Gambit. Don't give me Taylor Kitsch thinking he's from Texas.
I'm going to throw one to the
bad
side
Gambit.
here, and I'm going to go in the comic books. I just want to mention specifically that my favorite version of Wolverine is specifically the one from Old Man Logan.
It's a good Wolverine.
Oh, my God. It's the only time they've brought up that Wolverine can be flawed enough to legitimately cause problems. Because his flaws are usually written away, and he's been flanderized so hard, and he's the guy that goes, teams up with anybody. But that was the only time I've seen anyone at Marvel take Wolverine and ruin him.
I think my favorite version of Wolverine is the one from Hulk versus Wolverine.
Yes, alright, that's pretty awesome.
Because that movie is just Wolverine is pissed off because the Hulk punched him and he kills a bunch of guys.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
And it has Deadpool in it.
Is Wolverine Hulks out on the Hulk? That's...
Yeah, and Deadpool, so...
Why not?
The first time Deadpool was ever animated.
Really?
Actually, that's the first time Deadpool was ever in any media. Because there's a little flash of him in the 90s X-Men cartoon. And then the shitty Wade Wilson thing in X-Men Origins Wolverine. The first time you see Deadpool is in Hulk versus
Not
Wolverine.
Wade Wilson. Deadpool.
That's the first time.
It's pretty cool.
That's why I bought the movie. It was like, oh, Deadpool's in it, and Nolan North's voicing him. Yay!
Nolan North.
I love Nolan North.
Notice he's doing. Him and Jim Cummings should voice everything.
But I think, now that we've got it, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is
Oh, of course.
best Deadpool.
No one has to argue. We can just walk
Within
right past that
the
one.
umbrella of X-Men. That's the best Deadpool.
Easily.
It's also the best Colossus.
Yeah. Fantastic Four.
I know I'm the one who brought this up, but honestly, every adaptation of the Fantastic Four has been shit.
Terrible. It's been terrible. So what do we pick from amongst the shit?
I got 60s cartoon, I've got the 90s cartoon, I've got the early 2000s cartoon that nobody watched. We've got the first couple movies with
then the reboot,
with
the Grimdark reboot,
Yoan Gruffid and Fan Four Stick.
You know what I'm going to do? Honestly, I'm going to take the weird way. I'm going to go with the 60s cartoon. It's the cheekiest one.
Because I will agree with you because that's the Johnny Storm that was in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah! Woo, woo, woo! And plus, I have to say, it was closer to the heart because the Human Torch was the first Marvel superhero.
Yep.
Marvel 1, Human Torch on the cover. Boom. Everybody suck a dick.
We honestly, I only brought it up because I wanted to shit. Look what you did to Horatio Hornblower. That's not what you do with your Yoan Gruffid.
Damn it. Let's skip these two. Why don't we just make Godzilla the last one?
Gojira!
Because technically, what you've...
Actually, there's less than you think. Because, as they've established with Shin Godzilla that came out this year, original 1950s Godzilla is its own continuity
Yes.
of Godzilla, which Shin Godzilla is a sequel to.
Yes.
There is then all of the Godzillas. There's the Showa-era Godzillas.
Yeah. And then there's the Toho
And there's
era.
well, they're all Toho. There's
Yeah.
Showa and Heisei-era Godzilla.
Heisei, that's it, yes.
So let's say we've got original Godzilla, which includes Shin Godzilla, which I haven't watched because it's in theaters in Japan, so I have no way to watch
Yes.
it. Showa Godzilla, Heisei Godzilla, Final Wars era Godzilla, because that is technically a separate one. American Godzilla
From the 1998
and 2014 American
Godzilla. Then you have Godzilla from the 60s or 70s animated American TV series.
Well, the one with Godzuki.
Godzuki.
And the 90s cartoon based on the
Yeah,
90s movie.
it's like in 99.
Because it's got Nick Totopoulos finds a Godzilla egg and grows a new Godzilla and it
Yeah.
becomes a superhero.
It's not good. It's
I
not
bought that
one.
entire series on DVD for $4.
I agree. It should cost that much.
I honestly, this is completely biased, totally biased. I'm choosing Showa era Godzilla because it has Godzilla versus Megalon, which is the one with Jaga.
Which era? I think it's the Heisei or the
Heisei is the one where you it starts over and you get like the new Mechagodzilla
and Biollante and shit.
That is Heisei.
That's my shit. Oh god, the Smog Monster, Biollante, Destroya. Oh,
You're saying it wrong.
what?
Destroya!
Destroya! You're right. I'm saying it wrong. But no, that's my favorite Godzilla, just because, like...
The hyper-violent one.
Oh my god, yes, and Biollante, that's my favorite one. It's ridiculous and like every movie revolves around the same shit. We use Godzilla cells for an experiment, and then they have like an experimental floating tank called the Super X. What? You couldn't be more goddamn 80s and 90s than the Super X.
I may be confusing the eras of Godzilla with the eras of Kamen Rider, but I'm just saying the ones from the 60s and 70s and then the ones from the 80s are...
Yeah, the ones from the 80s and 90s are the ones that I like the most.
I
That's
like the
my
ones,
shit. I love those.
I like the ones from the 60s and 70s.
Megaguirus, Rodan, that's you.
Yeah, that's me. Like, Giant Monsters, All Out Attack.
Yeah, I'm the one where they invented new ones. Smog Monster, Biollante, that giant crab.
I just...
That's my shit. I love that shit.
Jet Jaguar is my favorite.
Jaguar!
I can't explain why I love Jet Jaguar. Actually, I can't.
Because he looks
of that
like
episode of MST3K. But
No. I can tell you why.
he looks like Robot Ultraman.
He looks like the Rocketeer. That's what he looks. I mean,
Except he came first, so...
I know, but like, that's a good movie though.
But I was like, worst version of Gods is the 90s American.
Yeah, the 1998 American one. Like, here's the thing: a lot of people my age, that was like one of my first exposures to Godzilla, and I loved it when I saw it.
But then when
looking
you
back
see the
now,
other
it's
stuff-
garbage. This is really funny. Is they took a pot shot at it bad when he appeared
In Final Wars.
In Final Wars, they just referred to him as Zilla, and when asked why. The creators of that, when it basically the rights went back to Toho during that period, and they did that. They asked why it was called Zilla, and he said, "Oh, because he is nothing but a dumb beast. They took the god out of him." I was like, "Oh, if I was the director of that movie, so if it was Roland Emmerich, wasn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, I would just like, right in the pride. They hit me in my creative.
I love that, because he's in the movie for 15 seconds, because that's how
He
long it
gets
takes Godzilla
jacked
to
the
kill
fuck
him.
up.
He gets atomic breath through the Sydney Opera House.
He gets fucked up immediately and completely.
It's awesome.
Utterly brilliant.
Honestly, all I can recall from the 70s Godzilla cartoon, besides that they had the Godzilla summoning watches, is Godzuki.
God damn it.
You know why I have such a vivid memory of that is because I saw it on vacation at my cousin's house in Florida, because it came on right before Ewoks.
Oh no! Oh no!
Ewoks.
All right. Yeah, we can stop that right there. We used to actually have a VHS of one of the directed-to-video movies, Battle for Endor. Not good.
Ooh, those weren't direct to video. They were made for TV.
Well, they were bad.
They are.
They are really
They're
bad.
very bad.
Very, very bad.
I still want that DVD 2-pack that has both of them because they're the only piece of Star Wars film media that I
you don't have.
own, except for the holiday special.
But
you
nobody
can't
has
own
that.
Well, I can get it, but
Because we can get it, but it's going to be grainy as shit on YouTube.
yeah, that's the one thing I don't have. Well, I don't have any of the seasons of Clone Wars or Rebels, but I'll get them. Those are the only live action ones I don't have.
Yeah. You know what? There's a video game that, before we sign off, there is a video game that I really badly want. And it's like technically there's two of them. They were released on GameCube and they're really hard to find. But it's Star Wars Bounty Hunter, where you played as Boba Fett or Jango Fett. I think it was Jango Fett. Mm-hmm. But it was just like a really neat game, honestly. And Republic Commando, the team-based shooter, where you like instructed a team of clone
there's
troopers.
a whole book series
That's
based
a
on Republic
really,
Commando.
really, really good game, and it just fell away because it was released on the GameCube, and it was a Star Wars tie-in.
Damn you nerds! You're not supporting the GameCube.
The PS2 is the greatest system of all
I
time.
loved my GameCube,
I loved my GameCube, but I love my PS2.
but also
far
that
more.
was the point where nobody only had one.
Yeah.
It's,
Like, I got my GameCube much later for $50 plus some games.
everybody had two. Like I had a GameCube and a PS2 because fuck the Xbox.
Yeah, the only reason I had
And I had all three the next gen because I have a Wii, a PS.
I eventually got a PS3,
And a 360.
but I got a 360 first, then later I got a Wii because I got a sweet deal on it. Someone gave me a 360 as a gift, as a Christmas present, and then I got a PS3 later because fuck, I wanted one because I love Ratchet and Clank.
And then the current generation, I have a Wii U and a PS4 because
Me too.
fuck the Xbox.
Fuck the Xbox. You mean the X-Bone?
X the fucks box.
X the Fox Box. And on that note, we'll sign off for tonight. I hope you agree with us, and if you don't, go fuck yourself.
But in a nice way.
But in a nice way, yeah, please. Like, subscribe, share, tell everyone about us. Tell us what you'd like to hear. We're all ears.
Godzuki.
God damn it.